do I know that's authentic?
You have my word.
And a letter of authentication?
That too.
It's like watching the Williams sisters. I wish we had popcorn.
Insulting.
I won't take it.
Then someone else will.
Eventually, maybe.
I can wait.
So can I.
That's my last offer.
I'll think about it.
I'll waive the tax.
And throw in delivery.
We appreciate your business.
I like that woman.
Okay, we are back with the next episode of Gilmore Girls. I just finished season 1, episode 19, Emily in Wonderland. Emily comes to Stars Hollow for a tour with Rory and to kind of see Mrs. Kim's antiques. And the other plot was Rachel and Lorelai end up getting close and spending time together. Let's dive into Emily coming to Stars Hollow with Rory. So to me, I kind of like that part because I think it's kind of the first time like you see Rory and Emily actually getting close and hanging out together and kind of getting to know each other. So Rory is so excited her grandma is coming in town, and so she's like showing her all the spots. She gets her to change out of her high heel shoes to some tennis shoes, which is unheard of for Emily Gilmore, so that is such a big deal. And we kind of get the scene with Mrs. Kim and Emily Gilmore, how they're going back and forth, and they're just matching each other's energy and having the best time, like just arguing over price, haggling. You kind of see their two peas in a pod. And then we get the scene where Rory takes Emily to Lorelai's job. And so at Lorelai's hotel, they have like this kind of little hut in the back area, which is where Lorelai raised Rory when she was a baby to like her early years were raised there. And Emily sees that and kind of gets hurt and kind of gets mad. And so she ends up leaving because she's like crying. She's like, this is where my daughter left to raise her kid when she could have stayed with us. So she leaves. And so Emily's goal is to then kind of make up for lost time. And so she calls Rory and she's like, hey, what do you think? What's your favorite color? What boy band do you like? 98 Degrees, NSYNC, Backstreet Boys? What do you like? So she's trying to make Rory have like a room that's just for her because she saw where Rory was raised in the beginning and how small it was. And so she kind of wants Rory to have her own space. And so I kind of think that that's kind of sweet, but she also has ulterior motives for doing it. And so Friday night dinner comes, she like drags Rory. She's like, hey, look at what I did. And Rory's like, oh, thanks. And then Emily kind of goes off on Lorelai. Like she calls her off and she's like, are you just mad that Rory now has a spot that does not involve you? And then Emily basically is just mad that Lorelai left them with when she was pregnant with Rory and went to this small little hut when she could have stayed with them. And that's where Lorelai chose to be, like in the small space that didn't have much of anything. And so Emily's just really hurt and she kind of takes it out on Lorelai. So that plot. The second plot was Lorelai and Rachel kind of start getting to hang out. And Rachel has been going around Stars Hollow taking photos of everything and is thinking about doing a book, Small Towns in the USA. And so in one of her photos, she has like one of these old inns. So she actually takes Lorelai to see it up close because Lorelai and Suki's end goal is to create an inn by themselves and be owners. So yeah, so in the process, they're becoming friends. They were like hanging out together. We finally get to see what Luke's upstairs kind of looks like, which is kind of wild because you've never seen it. And so you kind of get to see how Luke lives. And Luke kind of has a problem with the two of them hanging out. He's like, what is happening? Because they're also talking about Luke. And Rachel asked Lorelai to talk to Luke to actually get him to understand that she's planning on staying. And so Lorelai has a talk with Luke. She's like, hey, give her a chance. Like, she seems to really want to stay. And so in Lorelai talking to Luke, she actually gets him to give her a drawer, which is a big deal because up until now, Luke hadn't emptied out anything. Like, he was just in the mindset that Rachel's going to leave again like she has in the past time. And Lorelai's able to talk him into, no, she's going to stay. She's going to be okay. So, yeah, so you kind of see their friendship blossoming and just how much weight Lorelai has to Luke for her to be able to get him to change his mind and kind of, yeah. So I kind of like this episode. Like, you got to see more of the back history of Lorelai and Rory and how they were when Rory was a baby and kind of how Lorelai started it on her own when she left her parents. So I thought that was big. Of course, Luke was still wearing his blue cap, which is kind of wild to me, being that he's dating someone else, but he's still wearing a cap that Lorelai gave him in this episode. Oh, and y'all, we got Rune back again because Suki and Jackson went Rune out of Jackson's house. So they talk Lorelai into hiring him as like a maintenance man. And so Rune comes back and he ends up staying in the little hut that Lorelai and Rory lived in all those years ago. And so Rune is back and stirring up drama, of course. Okay, I'll see you guys in the next episode.
This has been another episode of Real Talk with Noelle.